Zerg versus Terran between dSeleCT and EC+Scarlett. Now with Eclipsia after that solid to incredible run through the IPL4 open bracket, being taken out only by Oz 2-1, the Protoss who just joined. Oh no, I just saw it. Oh no, Fnatic, I believe. Yeah, almost certain Fnatic. And then losing also to Golden Light and a ZVZ, and it looks like my game froze. No, it did not, and we are in the game. Look at that. See? So we have ourselves, alright, dSeleCT spawning in the upper right here on map that I actually don't remember the name of. Wow, I played this map multiple times and don't know the name of it. That is sad in some ways. But anyway, in the bottom left we have ourselves Chaos Keeper, the blue Zerg. It is EC+Scarlett. And on the other side we have dSeleCT, as I quickly tab out and back in. So EC+Scarlett has, like I said, I casted her game against E.G. de Muslim in the losers round of the IPL4. Unfortunately, for some reason, that did not save, and therefore it is lost for all of eternity into the nothingness that is the interwebs. So unfortunately, we don't get that game. That was one of my better casted series. Oh, it was 2 games. And I also casted Marine King Prime versus Stefano, which was really good as well. That too got lost. I was quite disappointed that it got lost, and I actually don't have any way of getting it back, apparently, because I don't save to my hard drive because my computer is somewhat strained as it is to play StarCraft on medium settings and also stream it. So that means that unfortunately they're not going to get those games, and I don't really feel like redoing them because that would be cheating, and I'd know exactly what would happen and would have no real enthusiasm for it because I knew what would happen. That's just the way that I feel. So instead we're going to watch ourselves go dSeleCT, who's got gas on 13 racks, of course, standard play there, and the 15 hatch from Chaos Keeper, who is EC+Scarlett. So it doesn't look like either player is going to be going for any sort of really early aggression. Of course, normally in this situation it is the Terran going for that early aggression. Scarlett also, without the scout, no scout whatsoever so far, selects SCV, just making it in to see that spawning pool about halfway done. Gas also being taken. And the first Marine down on the low ground, just scouting around, probably checking to see if there are any overlords that are headed for this overhang here, make certain that he doesn't get there. So this Marine's going to actually head out, and it looks like it might be heading out to the front of Scarlett's base to see what damage he can do. That SCV is still alive. It could throw down a bunker. He could put on some extra pressure. He probably is. A second Marine on its way, and the SCV's getting the heck out of there. So is the Overlord now. Good play by Scarlett. Probably realized that she could be looking at some sort of early push there, maybe just to take some early map control as well as take out an Overlord. Losing that Overlord early on would be a big deal for Scarlett. She does have 3 in gas now. Not enough for metabolic boost yet, but just about. And there's the 100 gas, and she takes off and spends that 100 gas right away. So this Marine is searching for any Overlords that were sent on a path up that would lead it up to over here, such as, and stay with me, everyone who has vertigo, whee, whee, and then land over here to check for the expansion, as well as to scout later. So very smart play by dSeleCT, as he's going for the Reactor Hellion build. He does have enough minerals. There we go. He sets it down. Trying to micro this Marine away from the 2 Zerglings. Looks like the Zerglings are going to get the free kill. That Marine is in straight runaway mode. Is it going to make it? Well, it's going to make it back to base, but there's nothing there to really help him. And those 2 Zerglings are going to be able to scout whatever they want. He does raise the supply depot, does keep them out of the base, but that SCV building the command center is going to be delayed as he runs around. Scared of the Zerglings. The Zerglings are target firing him. Almost got him. The SCV down to 10 health. This Marine has found an Overlord, and we have some action early on in this game as the Overlords are heading, or excuse me, the Overlords. That Overlord is going to get away just barely, and the two Hellions are on the way to the front to try and deny any sort of creep spread from Scarlett. And so two Queens out front to meet it. No creep tumors seen on the map. Just a little bit away from having scan energy. Be interesting to see if he uses it on to try and kill that early tumor, or if he's going to hold on to it and use it as a mule. He uses it as a mule. He now has 4 Hellions out there, just dancing back and forth, trying to get whatever shots he can off on the Queens. Ooh, and he's still making Hellions here off the reactor factory, excuse me, and he's also building a tech lab. Here comes the 3rd command center. See that a lot more often in the high-level games. The pros going for the 3 command centers off the 2 bases, and the Roaches are out now. 5 Roaches out on the field, and those Hellions are going to be driven away. This SCV does hold the watchtower. Scarlett does send a single Roach over to take out that SCV and claim the watchtower for herself. 6 Hellions now out on the field. Are going to keep some sort of map control due to the fact that those Roaches have to stay relatively at home, although they are trying to chase down that SCV. Looks like the Zerglings are going to take it out. Scarlett does an excellent job zoning with 4 Roaches here, but as Select just has too many Hellions. He takes out a Roach and 2 Zerglings without losing a single Hellion. And he's preparing for some sort of Roach or Baneling all in. It looks like he's got 2 bunkers, one on the high ground, one on the low ground. Here comes siege mode with the siege tanks. He's switched the factory and the barracks and is now making double Marines. He also now has 2 engineering bays, so it looks like he's going to go heavy into the bio, or probably mostly Marine play. And has yet to saturate his natural, whereas Scarlett has her natural and main fully saturated. She's also up on the upgrades, getting +1 carapace and +1 armor. She's also getting her 3rd up. Just kind of allowed to do what she wants. Has not overextended with Roaches too much. She has enough to deal with the Hellions that are out on the field. And that early scout, I think she knew that any early aggression around the 8 to 10 minute mark was not going to happen. So switching back that reactor now. A lonely reactor without any building to call its own as the factory takes off, the barracks attached, and here comes Stim. Those 5 Hellions, 6 Hellions, they split up. 6 Hellions as Scarlett checks on a 3rd, going to look and see what they can see, and what they can see are 3 Roaches and a Queen to meet them, and they lose one of their brethren. One of the Hellions goes down. Good creep spread so far by Scarlett, spreading all the way around her 3rd right now, as well as to her 3rd, as well as up the left-hand side and up the center. It'll really slow down any push that Select feels like making anytime soon. He does only have right now 2 tanks. The starport is being built on that reactor, so we'll start seeing double medevacs, and +1/+1 is almost done for Select. +1/+1 is basically done for Scarlett. She's also got the infestation pit and pathogen glands, as well as the lair. So these 5 Hellions attempting to do what they can to stop the creep spread, but there are 3 Roaches all perfectly placed, zoning out the Hellions, keeping them from coming in, although it would have worked out. Well, no, though 3 more Roaches by Scarlett placed very well at the 4th that she's taking. She feels very comfortable right now just taking the entire map with only, you know what, I'll call that a handful of Lings and a small amount of Roaches. And here come more Hellions, 3 Roaches again to greet them. Scarlett is all over the place with her Roaches, always there at the right time, and this Zergling is going to do a great job scouting and sees the 3rd of Select floating over there, and dual medevacs are out. Stim is just about done, and now it's done. We'll see whether or not the Select goes for any sort of drops, drop play right now. It looks like he is, dare I say it? I thought there were 2 medevacs, and I only see 1 now. Guess not. So a bunch of speed Roaches now actually on their way across. Looks like they're going to trap these Hellions, trying to do what they can damage-wise to the Zerglings. Great play by Scarlett to catch those Hellions out of, well, they weren't really out of position. It was just those Roaches came up from behind to surround with the Zerglings. You don't often see that, and now the third of Select is in deep trouble. He's going to have to lift off the command center and lose what little he had over there in this way of SCVs. Oh, and on the move command right there, loses a couple Marines without doing any damage, although the hit on the Zerglings from the siege tank does do a solid amount of damage, driving away these Zerglings and Roaches. And +2/+2, almost done for Scarlett. No +2/+2 has started for Select, and a couple of Infestors are out on the field. Her fourth is up. She's mining from 4 bases worth of gas right now. You see a couple Marauders on the field to counteract the Roaches, and a sensor tower out in the middle of the center of the 3 bases for Select to try and tell where the Zerg's going to strike next. Keep an eye on those Zerglings, or not Zerglings, keep an eye on those Roaches and those Zerglings. More Zerglings streaming in here, and here come the Infestors, and even more Infestors with the pathogen glands. They are ready to fungal growth at a moment's notice. There goes the sensor tower. Good Zergling placement here on the right-hand side, and the creep spread is ridiculous. It's basically all the way up to Select's portion of the map. So Select looks like he's a little bit backed into a corner. He's trying to play defensive, trying to build up his army, but it's only a matter of time before Scarlett, I think, makes some sort of push here. She's on her way to Hive. She's got a Spire going to finish at about the same time. And the money scan by Select, he's got to know now that most likely Greater Spire will be made right now. And Eclipsia, oh, Scarlett waits until the scan goes away to make the Greater Spire just to keep Select guessing a little bit. Of course, I'm pretty certain Select knows that that's not what happens. She also is able to stream her Zerglings in, and they're going to slide around into the mineral line and start attacking, and the siege tank doing a ton of damage to its own workers, and the siege tank gets taken out. Remember, 2/2 upgrades to 1/1 upgrades. Those Zerglings do a whole lot, and a bunch of infested Terrans thrown down with those Infestors. She saves most of the Infestors. Great job. That bunker's going to burn down. A Queen stuck out in the middle of the map has done its job. It is spread creep all the way across the map. The entire bottom 2/3 of the map is covered in purple right now, and Select feels a little uncomfortable, I would say, and he feels like he wants to or needs to move out. 2/2 is a ways away for him, but it is started, and here we go. That's why that creep spread's so important. Catching the tanks unsieged, that's the majority of the army, and so many Zerglings surrounding those siege tanks. They do so little damage in those situations. Fungal growth's going down, not needed. The army of Scarlett just way too much, and all of the medevacs go down as well. His Select right now is really backed up into a corner. That third base of his is very vulnerable, and even that natural, if he overextends toward the third, will be in trouble as well. Select there getting surrounded on the creep. The drop into the main does a solid amount of damage, killing a good amount of Zerglings and some drones, but doesn't kill anything of note, although there are still 2 Marines alive that are now going to kill more drones. And they will not kill this Queen. I take, yes, they will not kill this Queen, as Select going to take out what would be the 6th base, getting absolutely steamrolled by all of the Zerglings. No fungal growths have to go down right now. Select is just way behind macro-wise. He's in some deep trouble. Scarlett just has a bigger army, much bigger bank, and she has the better tech coming as well, with Broodlords on the way and the Infestors. She's also getting double upgrades. She's almost to 3/3. Select is just started 3/3 himself. He does have Combat Shield. It did take a while to get to Combat Shield, but Select is in some deep doo-doo. Like I said, Scarlett has just taken the entire entire bottom half of the map, and here come the Broodlords. 6 of them out on the field right now, and they're going to start sieging away from the high ground onto the third of Select, and that's going to be big damage. Big problems for him. That is great positioning. Those Infestors are able to keep an eye on the Broodlords on both the high ground and the low ground. And here come the Zerglings. Scarlett's going to push this. Siege tanks unsieged, sieging up just in time. Here comes the spread. to try and keep away from the infestors. That is great micro from Select, but now he's in full retreat into a bunch of spine crawlers at Scarlett's fifth. Excuse me. He's backed up into a corner, gets lifted off by the Medivacs, but the fungal growth catches them, and that entire army is now gone. Select does have another one back at home, but he's just never been able to build it up, and the command center gets floated to save it from the Broodlords. A couple of Zerglings running in, don't know what they're doing. Here comes the Marines. Marines are going to take out the Zerglings, a couple of splash damage. Tanks and the Broodlords left all alone, but Select can't get down the ramp in time. Those Broodlings just swarming the Marines. I thought for certain those 4 Broodlords, no support whatsoever, no infestors, no Zerglings, just Marines, and yet able to hold on here, and Select's going to have to figure out some way to get his Marines underneath the Broodlords. I don't know if it's going to be possible, though. Siege tanks unsieged. There's the big stim up. He gets underneath them. He is going to take them all down. 2 Corruptors join the battle to try and take out Medivacs. 2 siege tanks sieging. Here come the rest of Scarlett's forces. She has gotten a little over-eager, though. She only has a couple Zerglings and a good number of infestors, but remember, infestors do not attack. The infested Terrans go down, though. There are more infested Terrans than there are Marines, and Broodlords morphing inside the natural of Select. It should just about be it. Scarlett's taking the entire map, has unlimited bank, basically, will keep mining, and Select not giving up, though. He has his bunker on the high ground. It is still alive. It is being repaired, but so many infested Terrans right now being thrown out by Scarlett. More Broodlords morphing. She has 3 out there on the field, 3 more on the way. 2 more Medivacs being built, but right now with all of the Broodlords on the field, and there's the GG from Select. Just overall huge amounts of Zerg economics, just crushing through Select right there by Scarlett. Very well played.